Do you recommend reading the popular commentary of Ibn Abil Izz on the Tahawiyya? Ibn Abil Izz, I've read his commentary. It's a good commentary, but I wouldn't recommend it for people that haven't been trained in a more orthodox approach. He was a scholar, but he's definitely in line with a minority view in the Islamic tradition. Now I know that minority view says that we're the Mubtadi'ah, and but it just doesn't work that way. Because if you look at who we've got on our side, and you look who they have on their side, قَدْ تَبَيَّنَ الرُّشْدُ مِنَ الْغَيِّ. I'm sorry. I cannot believe that Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani, Imam Nawawi, Qadi Iyad, Imam al-Qurtubi, Imam al-Tabari, all these great ulama, I can't believe that God gave them tawfiq in everything except the most important thing, aqidah. It just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense. I cannot compute that. So, and the Prophet mentioned that things would change. He mentioned, that initial Islam would be very pure, and then he said the next set of Islam would have dakhan in it. It wouldn't be as clear, but he still called it good, because the Imam, Hudayfa ibn al-Yaman asked him, وَهَلْ بَعْدَ ذَلِكَ شَرْ مِنْ خَيْرٍ? Is there good after that evil when the Muslims deviate? He said, نَعَمْ وَفِيهِ دَخَنْ. But it's not going to be as clear as that first period. So there's no doubt that the Salaf were the best period. But this idea that you can just go back to what they had and not recognize that a lot happened since then, and there's reasons why there were responses, and you're going back to what they had is an attempt to go back at something that was an internal reality more than an external reality. So to make that claim and to bypass all of these ulama and to say they were all wrong and now we've got it right and we're making this jump back to the Salaf, is to say that the Salaf didn't hand down this thing to the next generation safely, because we believe there's talaqqi. And, this chain, and then to limit the chain to a handful of scholars, like 5 or 6 scholars, and that's all there is, historically, on that side. On the other side, there's 5 or 6 scholars. And arguably, they're pretty amazing scholars. Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyya, he was a great scholar. Ibn Taymiyyah was a great scholar. But their students, if you look at Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali, he was not in line with Ibn Taymiyyah on his aqidah. If you look at Ibn Kathir differs. Read Ibn Kathir. You'll see things in there, in his tafsir. This idea, like Ibn Kathir, if you look in Surah An-Nisa, when it mentions about وَلَوْ أَنَّهُمْ إِذْ ظَلَمُوا أَنفُسَهُمْ جَاءُوكَ, if they oppress themselves or wrong themselves and they come to you and they ask God to forgive them and you ask forgiveness for them, لَوَجَ اللَّهُ تَوَّابًا رَحِيمًا, you'll find God He turns and He forgives. And Ibn Kathir relates the story that Utbi relates, and several, Qadi Iyad relates it, all these ulama relate it, about the Bedouin man who came during the time of the Tabi'een. And he came and he said, Ya Rasulullah, and he spoke to the Prophet directly, and he said, I'm coming to you, mustashfi'an bika, I'm asking for your shafa'ah. So Ibn Kathir relates that, and he doesn't say, A'udhu billah, this is shirk, and how dare he say that, and this. He just relates the story. Now, the story is a story. It's related by one of the Tabi'een. The ulama looked at it, they liked the story, they put it in their books. So to say it's like shirk, well, you're basically saying then that Ibn Kathir couldn't differentiate. You're saying that Qadi Iyad couldn't differentiate. That these big ulama somehow just didn't see shirk for what it was. And that's a major problem. I don't understand that. So, I definitely respect the right of people to believe what they believe is true. And I think that our ummah is big enough. Like, for me, my circle includes them, even though their circle excludes me. Really. They're Muslims. And I'm not going to say they're not Muslims. If they call me a kafir, then I'll say that they're kafir because I know I'm not a kafir. I know I'm not. I do. When I'm alone with myself, between my Lord, I know what I am. And I'm not a kafir. So if somebody's going to call me a kafir, I'll call them a kafir. But my Islam is, I have a big circle. Even the Lahori Ahmadis get in there, you know. Now they're going to say, he's an Ahmadiyya.